Hi guys, welcome to HOB TV. This is episode 16. Wow. We made it to episode 16, Steve. It's crazy to think that it feels like it was episode 1 just like a week ago.
Made it. We haven't gotten canceled yet.
Right? Well, look at guys, today we got a great episode for you guys. Before we get started, if you're watching for the first time, make sure you guys go click that subscribe button. Stay tuned with us as we break down boxing, bringing guests on the show. I know last week I mentioned that we're having a guest today. Well, unfortunately, he didn't come. We didn't do it today. So next week, stay tuned. We're going to be having a special guest here on the show. And also, we found out some news. We made it in the top 20.
Top 20, guys.
Top 20 boxing YouTube channel. We made it at number 14. So we want to thank those loyal followers that are staying, viewing us. We want to thank you guys. I'm going to pass it over to my boy Steve. Today, like I said, we got a good show. Canelo JACOBS was this past weekend. And my boy Steve is going to give us his amazing intro he does. Yeah. Let's go.
Well, like you said, it's crazy that we're in the top 20.
It's crazy.
But you know what was crazier?
What?
This past weekend in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
No, you were there.
Yep.
I was there.
Yeah.
Came back with the cold. That's how crazy it was.
Wow.
But yeah, guys, recap of Canelo JACOBS. Let's reassess last Saturday's fight. Now, upon further review, you have to ask yourself 3 questions. Was it uneventful? Yes. Was it boring? Yes. But was it a brilliant boxing performance by Canelo Alvarez? Yes. And I think that last question should supersede the first 2. I had it as a rout for Canelo Alvarez. I had 8 rounds to 4, 116, 112. But I could see it if somebody had it 9-3 for Canelo Alvarez. He dominated every criteria that judges look for: effective aggression, ring generalship, defense, hard and clean punches. And Canelo exemplified excellent waist movement and head movement that these bobbleheads would be proud of. The head movement was so exemplary that out of 290 jabs thrown by JACOBS, only 42 would find their mark on Alvarez. Needless to say, JACOBS hit a lot of air. He landed an average of 3 to 4 jabs per round only, and you take away that jab, the only punch that Canelo was susceptible to, and you got nothing. Credit to Eddie Reynoso for realizing that from the 2 Golovkin fights. But for those of you who felt like it was boring and felt like something was missing, I feel you. You guys are in the majority and have an ally in the great Dinamita Marquez, who scored the fight for Daniel JACOBS. And in the same broadcast, he would go on to say that he would not have Canelo number 1 pound for pound due to a lack of competitive opponents. Speaking of Marquez, this week marked the 15th anniversary of his epic first fight with Manny Pacquiao, and this week also marked the 14th anniversary of Castillo versus Corrales. Now, when you're reminded of the memory of those 2 epic fights in the same week of Canelo JACOBS, it's easy to criticize the fight. But Marquez must remember that his fights and fighting style were also too deemed as boring and uneventful early in his career. It took that first fight with Pacquiao to truly bring that greatness out of him, and that was 11 years into his professional career. Alvarez is 13 years into his pro career, and although at times his performances seem a little Jekyll and Hyde, whereas you'll get a performance like this in one fight and a performance like the Khan fight in his next fight, perhaps his Marquez Pacquiao moment or his Castillo Corrales moment is just around the corner. With that said, I had said last week that if Canelo beats JACOBS convincingly, he'd be my number 1 pound for pound. Based on that, and based on the last few opponents of Lomachenko and Crawford, congratulations, Canelo. You're my number 1 pound for pound fighter. And now, Dave, yep. What do you think? Is Canelo your number 1 pound for pound fighter? What do you think of Marquez's comments? What do you think of the whole fight?
So look, I agree with you. He is the number 1 pound for pound best boxer right now. And to go with this past weekend, the event, I was a little disappointed with the event as far as the fight card, the undercard. But let's start off. We got Saddam Ali, kind of an upset, right? And I really, I felt bad because I've been with Saddam Ali in a couple Junior Olympic amateur camps, and you can just see like his career just slowly fading away, right? And especially losing against to that guy. All credit to him. I mean, he stopped him, which was good. But I think the main the main fight on the undercard, and I think we both can agree, was Virgil Ortiz, man. He really saved it. Like we said before, man, he's an exciting boxer. We did call that he was going to stop Mauricio Herrera, who hasn't been stopped before, and he did that, man. He was exciting. As far as the main event goes, like you said, it was a kind of boring fight for a casual boxing fan who likes to see, blood, sweat, It was a real technical fight. All credit to Jacobs to that. He was a bigger guy in that fight. He didn't make the 10-pound limit, right? He just said, screw it. I'm going to go in however I want, right? So look it was a real technical fight. Canelo, like you said, had great defense. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a great fight, man. But I think the main takeaway of that fight is Canelo's head movement, man. His defense, real underrated. I think he has one of the best in the game right now.
I know the waist movement made Chavez smile, man. He was really, really impressed by that.
Of course.
And who had better waist movement than El Gran Campeón Mexicano, right?
Exactly.
Now, some additional notes on this past weekend's fight. A total of 1.2 million people worldwide tuned in to Canelo Jacobs. 600,000 people tuned in the U.S. Okay, pretty impressive numbers.
Yeah.
Now, future plans for Jacobs and Canelo. Jacobs has stated that he's definitely moving up to 168 pounds.
Yeah.
He seemed, for me, a bit sluggish at times in that fight, a bit sloppy. His punches seemed to be slapping when he had Canelo on the ropes.
Yeah.
And he started late too.
He did start late.
And his coach, Rozier, for some reason in the second round, told Jacobs to slow it down, which I didn't really understand because that gave Canelo a big lead going into the later rounds. Yeah. And as an older fighter, he wasn't going to come back.
And look what happened with his Triple G fight. He should have learned, right? You ain't going to win a close fight like that, right? Against a champion, right? So
it's a big puncher.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about Canelo's future plans. Eddie Reynoso, his trainer, says to expect Canelo back in Vegas in September. It's good news for us. Another trip planned, right? For us.
Let's go.
But Oscar De La Hoya, he named 4 possible opponents for Canelo's September fight. Triple G, Demetrius Andrade, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Smith. Now, I think we both agree that the favorite has to be Caleb Smith. Not that we want to see that. Of course, we want to see that third Triple G fight the most. But it doesn't look like they're heading in that direction.
They're not. I mean, you can tell in the Jacobs fight, Canelo's knee looked a little tender, man. He was wearing that brace again. I think there was a time where he might have buckled a little bit on it, So I definitely don't think they wants to fight Andrade, a guy who moves. So that'll definitely give him problems. Like you said, we want to see that Triple G fight. I think not necessarily the safe fight, but the safest fight out of those ones, and it's still going to be a great fight, is the Caleb Smith fight, right?
Caleb Smith.
So like you said, I think that's the fight we're all expecting to see in September. But yeah, man. His options. He has options. So he can choose what he wants.
I think it's going to be Caleb Smith too. Caleb wants revenge. His little brother Liam didn't do so well versus Canelo a few years ago in Texas. So I think that's where we're headed, guys. It's not going to be Andrade. It's not going to be Triple G, unfortunately. And we were saying we think Triple G and Andrade will fight at the end of this year.
Exactly. What do we say, like November-ish?
November, December.
Yeah.
So look out for that one on the East Coast, more than likely.
Square Garden?
Yes.
Exactly.
Now, before we go any further, Dave, I want to give props to the LA Times. And their coverage of Canelo versus Jacobs. They did a hell of a job with the fight preview. It was in English and Spanish, 10 different stories. And this is what it looked like, guys. If you didn't pick it up, you missed out. But you can catch a lot of the stories online. Here we have Duel of Kings in the back in Spanish, Duelo de Reyes. And a lot of cool stories, a lot of cool pictures. Here's a full story on Canelo right here. My favorite was a story of Oscar Larios. He told a story of how Canelo used to idolize him and follow him around the gym in Guadalajara. And now it's the other way around. And now Larios idolizes Canelo. So also in this article, Dave, does this picture look familiar right here to you?
It does look familiar,
right here,
man.
Where's that from?
It looks like the ring right behind us. It was here at the House of Boxing for his Canelo Cotto Media Day.
This picture right here was taken in this ring right behind us, guys. Once again, props to the LA Times. This is how you do a fight preview. San Diego Union Tribune, get your stuff together, okay? I don't want to hear the excuse that there's no boxing fans in San Diego, because there are. And HOB TV is a testament to that. So if you guys need help with the fight preview, give me a call. Help you guys for free. All right? But moving on to one of our favorite segments of all time, Dave, here on HOB TV, Twitter time.
Exactly.
And we're going to take a look at some tweets, some comments regarding the Canelo Jacobs fight this past week. First tweet comes from the man himself, the victor, Canelo Alvarez. Canelo says, "This is mine, and I won't let anyone take it from me. Hashtag do it your way." Is he talking about the titles there? Is he talking about the moment?
I think he's talking a little bit of the titles and just the whole, because it's his time right now, man. He is the face of boxing right now, and he's like he said it in the hashtag, do it your way. So he's doing it his way, man. He's at his peak right now. His defense is off the hook, and I mean, like you said, man, it's his time right now. He's ready for whatever, right?
Exactly. Now, our second tweet comes from Canelo's trainer. Second and third tweet comes from Canelo's trainers, the father and son duo of Eddie and Don Chepo Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso first says, "The only bad taste in my mouth is that Jacobs came out to survive 12 rounds and not to fight." Now, to add to that, Don Chepo, along the same lines as Eddie, says, "Even to make love, you need two partners. The people deserve to see more." David, do you agree with Chepo's making love analogy? And that it takes two to tango? And do you think Jacobs survived, as Eddie Reynoso said?
I think somewhat it's somewhat true, man, because it did seem like Jacobs could have done more. I feel like, and there was times where he pressed forward and he was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, I'm not sure if maybe he felt the power or the body work or what it is. But it does have some truth in it, man, because, I mean, it was one of those fights where Canelo couldn't really press the action when Jacob wasn't staying there, right? He was moving, which, and in Jacob's defense, I mean, that's the smarter fight to do for him, right? But, I mean, yeah, I guess you can say it's somewhat true what he's saying.
I don't know if you could call it surviving. I think he just couldn't pull the trigger, man. I mean, we talked about him being a little past his prime last week. And if he would have pushed the fight, Canelo would have been there to oblige, I mean, it was boring because of that, but Canelo was there to fight, whether Jacobs was going to bring it or not, So our next tweet, moving on, comes from El Gran Campeón Mexicano, the great Julio Cesar Chavez. He says, "I think Canelo is now among the 10 best Mexicans in boxing history, but he's still not in the top 3 or 4. Do you agree with that?
I agree, man. I agree. I mean, he still has a long career ahead of him. He's 28 years old, so he still has plenty of time to write out that legacy, right? And like you said, hashtag do it your way. He's doing it his way right now, and he's doing the right moves, man. He's doing the right moves, and with the way his head movement, he's not getting hit a lot. I mean, I could see him boxing for another good 10 years, man, and still making money. And like I said, creating that legacy to solidify him to possibly be top 3 Mexican fighter, man. But right now, I agree with Chavez. He's definitely top 10, but he's not in the top 3 right now.
Now, when we take a look at the top 10 best Mexican fighters of all time, usually rounding out that list are Barrera, Morales, and Marquez, some combination of that. Would you rank Canelo right now ahead of those 3 guys to take, let's say, like a number 6 or 7 spot? Or maybe have him ranked ahead of one of those guys?
I would think so, man. I would think so. Maybe not personally. I mean, everybody's list is kind of different, right? So, I mean, personally, I like Barrera. I mean, I'm not sure if it'll be past Barrera yet. Maybe, it's one of those things. It's hard. It's hard to tell. It's right now. Like I said, it's still early in Canelo's career. Right now, he's in his prime, and he's only going to get better. He's getting better right now. So I mean, there's still time to cement that legacy, right?
Yeah, and like those guys, they didn't come on till later in their careers, like Marquez.
Exactly.
So, maybe Canelo could come on in the later part of his careers too, man, and make some more history.
Exactly.
Now, our next comment comes from a fighter I've renamed Triple GQ for that pink jacket and shades that he had on during the fight. The whole fight, he had the shades on.
Yeah.
Triple GQ says, I saw no emotions, nothing special today. It was a nice sparring match, boring. They should have given more to the fans. Fighting words. Right there, right, from Triple G.
Yeah, those were fighting words. Yeah, he was ready.
Unfortunately, we're not going to see that fight next.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to, boil, marinate
Yeah,
some
it's
more.
marinating.
It doesn't need no marinade.
But that's good though that he's doing that. It's creating the buzz. People are talking about it, right? Look, we're talking about it on our show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's hey.
I think he got rid of Abel Sanchez because Abel would never wear sunglasses during the whole fight, like Jonathan Banks, his new trainer,
That's
right?
true.
So they were both sitting side by side with the shades on during the whole
true.
time. Like I said, it's a new Triple G, guys. So
Yeah.
we're going to touch on that,
Of course,
when he fights June 8th. But in response to Golovkin's comments and the fact that Golovkin was sitting ringside, Canelo stated, "It's good that Golovkin is my fan and that he comes to see me." Pretty funny.
It's pretty funny little comment, yeah.
Some more
they're
fighting
going back
words.
and forth. Yeah, they're going back and forth. That's good, man. And I mean, it's only building up that fight, right?
Yeah. Now, as you mentioned, it's most likely not going to happen in September, that third fight. A very good reporter out of Mexico, Salvador Rodriguez Chava, you've probably seen him on ESPN Deportes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he went on to confirm that Triple G Canelo will happen next May. You know, he's very close to the camp.
Right.
So
yeah, sounds about right.
So yeah, you're gonna have to wait a year, guys, to see that. Whenever it happens, we're gonna have a big extravaganza about it.
Yeah.
A big blowout too.
Big show that you're not gonna want to miss.
Now that concludes our tweets, Dave. To put an end, a punctuation to this show, this talk. You have any final thoughts from Vegas? I know you were there. Did something stick out from that weekend personally for you?
Man, just the environment, man. I mean, I've never been to a big event like that, to a big mega fight like Canelo JACOBS. So I was just in awe, taking in the whole people there. I was able to talk to Steve Kim, real cool guy. My father is a trainer, so we saw Joel Diaz was there, and Jojo Diaz corner. We're talking to our good friends Frankie and Frank Espinosa, just talking boxing, man, and just being in that whole atmosphere. It was fun, just going like a fan and just enjoying the whole event, man. It was fun.
Yeah, for me, I hit up the Boxing Expo, which is a great event.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of great fighters under one roof. I got to talk to Al Bernstein from Showtime. You're not gonna like what he said. He said Triple G won both the Canelo fights.
What?
I could confirm that myself. He had a little good conversation. So he's now my new favorite announcer. He jumped over Jim Lampley, jumped over Sergio Mora. Yeah. So Al Bernstein is my new favorite. Yeah. No. But something that stuck out was I met Daniel Roman.
Okay.
And he really impressed me. His poise, his classiness, classy kid, man. 28 years old. Of course, he had that Fight of the Year candidate on the Estrada, Gallito Estrada in the card. Against the Irishman, TJ.
Yep.
But man, his poise, he was very appreciative. He asked me 3 times what I thought of his fight. He wanted to know what people, fans thought of his fight. And to my surprise, he hadn't rewatched his fight. It's a Fight of the Year candidate, and this kid hasn't seen it. I'm pretty sure he's been busy. He picked up a title in that fight. But that was my highlight of the weekend, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And maybe we
think about it. Like he's a guy who came from fighting at the DoubleTree, he came from he came grinding. Yeah, he came grinding his way to where he's at right now, right? He didn't have no easy route.
And he acts like it,
Yeah, he didn't have no easy route, man. And yeah, like you said, man, I guess he stays humble.
Yeah, he's not like these bold, brash fighters we're not gonna name.
Yeah.
I'm picturing 2 right now. But he's a well-spoken kid, and who knows, maybe you might see him right here on HOB TV.
Exactly.
Now, Dave, we have a big card this weekend. Something we're looking forward to.
Exactly.
Doubleheader. First of all, we have Navarrete versus Dogbo, the rematch. Okay. This card's going down in Tucson, Arizona, guys. Saturday night, ESPN, the regular ESPN. Navarrete versus Dogbo. The first fight, made a star out of Navarrete.
Exactly.
First fight in the U.S. Took care of Dogbo. That was like a fight of the year candidate as well. So this rematch, I'm predicting.
You see it mean the same?
I'm going to say Dogbo by decision. I think Dogbo is going to get revenge on Navarrete by decision.
Yeah, come ready. He probably was unprepared last time.
He's going to be yelling Nejo.
Yeah.
Nejo, the whole fight, So be prepared for that, guys. But the main event was number 3 on my list of top fights of the spring-summer. The rematch between Miguel Berchel and Francisco Vargas. What are your quick thoughts? What's your prediction?
I think, if anything, man, You need to put on that hat right there because it's definitely going to be a war fight,
I'll
man.
let you put it on. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'll put it
definitely-
on.
Put it on
I
already,
think
bro.
it's gonna be-
Come on. It's,
you
I
know-
mean, there's no doubt about it. It deserves
Yeah.
that hat right
Let's
there.
do it. Why not,
It's-
guys?
Yeah, exactly. Look at it.
You
It's
know.
going to be a great fight, man. They're two Mexican boxers. You've seen the first fight. I mean,
First fight was hat worthy.
yeah, exactly.
You know?
So, I mean, the second fight is only going to be the same. I mean, these guys come ready to box.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think just Burchell is in his A game right now. And he's the bigger guy. Like I said, man, like I said before, Francisco Vargas had too much wars right now. He's been in too much
He
wars.
gets cut easy.
He gets cut
those
easily,
eyelids,
exactly.
man,
So, I mean,
paper mache.
yeah, but I mean, he definitely has heart, man, and he's an exciting boxer to watch. So it'll be an exciting fight. It's going to be an exciting fight for the fans, right? If you didn't like Canelo Jacobs, make sure you tune into this
Exactly.
fight because it's going to be one of those wars.
What do you think of Joel Diaz in Francisco Vargas' corner now?
Yeah, I think it's a good move, man. It's a good move. Did they fight already before? Didn't they fight already before, or is this the first time? Or
No, they've had a few fights.
they've had a few fights. Man, I think it's good,
but,
man.
but Francisco Vargas
As far as-
has been inactive. I think he's fought
That's
like
true.
once a year.
But the good thing about over there with Joel Diaz in Coachella is that, you know, they got guys out there, man, to spar. We have a boxer here at House of Boxing, Kevin Torres. He was out there sparring with the guy who just won the world title against Emmanuel Taylor. So, yeah, man, they were out there. They got sparring, man, so they stay active, which is good, right? You get good quality sparring. So, yeah, it'll be a good fight for him, man. I'm pretty sure they had a good camp. They seem ready, so we'll see.
You know, I respect Joel Diaz, but you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And Francisco Vargas is going to go back to what he knows, and that's getting into a war. That's why this hat came on, the Leonard versus Hearns battle helmet.
Yeah.
But he's going to get into an unnecessary war, and my prediction is Miguel Burchell in 9 rounds.
Yeah.
By stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, that's no question. But, I mean, the main thing, like, for a guy like that, like you said, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And that's pretty much his style. The main thing that Joel Diaz is going to get him is going to get him ready for the fight. He's going to be ready, prepared, well prepared. He might tweak a little things in there. So we'll see how it plays out on Saturday. And you never know, man. Burchell might have a bad camp. You never know, right? You never know what happens in a camp. And Francisco Vargas can show up. Look at, he fought on the Canelo undercard, and he stopped that one guy in dramatic fashion, that Asian dude. What's his name?
Oh, I was at the fight. I was on the Canelo Cotto undercard.
Exactly. So, I mean, you never know, man. He has heart, man, and he could pull out a win like that. I could see that happening.
He had a rough fight with Salido, too.
Yeah.
But since the first Burchell fight, he's only fought twice. So I think that inactivity is gonna hurt him in this fight. Man.
But I think he needed it, though, for those eyes, right? Like, those eyes needed some rest, man. I mean, he back-to-back wars, and then, I mean, for that face, man, he needed to rest, bro. He needed some rest, too. Maybe it was good for his mental to come back fresh, man.
So what's your final prediction?
My final prediction at the end of the day, that all sounded good, right? Hey, I'm going with Burchell, man. Burchell's a big 130-pounder, bro. Yeah. A skillful 130-pounder, and he's only getting better. Yeah. So, yeah, I see him stopping Francisco Vargas, man. But you're not going to want to miss this fight, man. It's going to be an exciting one. And make sure you guys tune into ESPN. Yeah,
have Burchell in 9, and I want to see Burchell call out Vasily Lomachenko after this fight.
Exactly.
Definitely a fight I want to see. Let's make it happen, guys.
Let's do it. Yeah.
That's it.
So, hey, thank you guys for tuning on in. Like I mentioned earlier in the episode, next week we're going to be having a special guest here on the show, so you're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you guys tune in again to ESPN Saturday, Burchell Vargas. Thank you guys for tuning on in, man. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.